This video contains audio content only. No video or images are included. For those expecting video content, please note that this is intentionally provided in audio-only format. Rather than watching the screen, we recommend focusing on listening to enjoy the content. Thank you for your understanding. Please enjoy. In ancient times, long before the birth of writing, humans carved depictions of sexual acts into paintings. Humor and laughter surrounding sexuality have been an endless source of interest for humans across time and cultures. In Japan, a unique culture blending sexuality and humor blossomed in the form of Shunga. Shunga refers to Japanese paintings depicting sexual love. Its history is ancient, and it was already being enjoyed among aristocrats in the Heian period, eventually spreading to commoners. During the Edo period, many highly artistic works were produced by Ukiyo-e artists. Shunga served various roles as sexual education textbooks, protective talismans, wedding gifts, and entertainment companions. In a single painting, the social customs, people's lives, and their range of emotions from the time are condensed. It's like looking through a window into a microcosm of the Edo period. This video will unravel the history of Shunga, while vividly depicting the culture and lives of people from that era. Please enjoy this world of hidden laughter in Shunga. Chapter 1: The Birth of Hidden Laughter. Long ago, in an era before even writing existed, people carved wedges into clay tablets, ran brushes across papyrus, and left records of sexual acts. In the city of in Sumerian civilization around 3000 BCE, excavated clay tablets show line drawings of men and women joining together. Was this part of a ritual praying for fertility, or was it an expression of the small joys of daily life? In ancient Egypt, papyrus from around the 13th century BCE contains illustrations of sexual positions called the dodecatechnon. The images of men and women joining in various positions seem to convey both the mystery of life and sensual pleasure. In ancient China, too, there is an anecdote in Lu Zhang's biographies of exemplary women from the former Han period about King Zhou of Yin ordering artists to paint pictures of sexual intercourse. Even those in power could not resist the allure of sexuality. Sex has been an endless source of interest for humanity across time and cultures, and when humor and laughter are added to it, human nature becomes even more prominent. The dawn of Shunga in Japan is deeply connected to such fundamental human desires and culture of laughter. It is believed that Shunga was introduced to Japan along with Chinese medical texts explaining bedroom arts, Fanzhong Shu. Bedroom arts were techniques for maintaining health and achieving longevity through sexual intercourse. Shunga were essentially textbooks illustrating specific methods of lovemaking. In the early Heian period, among aristocrats, Shunga already existed under names like images of repose or osokuzu pictures. Images of repose was a term from China meaning to lie down and rest, or for men and women to share a bed. Though few materials survive, we can imagine what these pictures looked like from contemporary literature. Works like Biography of Prince Sunasada and Collection of Tales Past and Present contain descriptions of paintings with sexual themes. They depict exaggerated genitalia and men and women joining in various positions. Additionally, in Kinsei Kijin Den, the word osokuzu is interpreted as a euphemism for genitalia. Shunga served as both a means of conveying sexual knowledge and a source of hidden laughter. During the Muromachi period, Shunga began to spread beyond aristocratic society to common people. There are records of fans exported through Japan Ming trade that contained erotic images. Chinese historical sources refer to these as unworthy pictures, suggesting they were not necessarily viewed positively in China at the time. However, in Japan, Shunga held meaning beyond mere erotic art. Warriors lived with the constant fear of death on the battlefield. They would conceal Shunga under their armor, calling them victory pictures, kachi. These were not meant to suppress sexual excitement, but rather served as talismans expressing an attachment to life and wishes for prosperity of descendants while facing death on the battlefield. Merchants also kept Shunga in their storehouses to protect their wealth from the great calamity of fire. Shunga was believed to have the power to ease people's anxieties and bring good fortune. At wedding ceremonies, brides were given picture scrolls of pillow pictures, makora-e. These served as textbooks for sexual knowledge and were also gifts wishing for marital harmony. The scrolls depicted men and women joining in various positions and included points to note during intercourse. Some included humorous depictions of genitalia or comical portrayals of various events during sexual acts, allowing brides to ease their tension while deepening their sexual knowledge. In this way, Shunga played an important role in sexual education. In its early period, Shunga became deeply rooted in people's lives while serving multiple roles including magical significance, sexual education, and entertainment. It viewed sex, the source of life, positively, and combined it with laughter and humor to ease people's anxieties and give them hope. Shunga would blossom as a unique Japanese culture while carrying this hidden laughter. Chapter 2: Sexuality blooming in Edo. In the Edo period, Shunga was not mere pornography. For example, Kitagawa Utamaro's Utamakura is considered a masterpiece of Shunga and is highly valued even today for its artistic merit. It depicts a man and woman being intimate in the upper room of a tea house. While the exposure is modest, the atmosphere emanating from the scene creates an exquisite artistic mood. From the woman's white nape to the glimpses of pure white skin between her red waistband, and the man's cool gaze visible through the woman's hair, the detailed depictions are breathtaking. However, the world of Shunga was also characterized by bolder expressions. The most representative of these was the exaggerated depiction of male and female genitalia. This actually carried deep meaning. Drawing genitalia as large as faces was intended to express them as a second face. In other words, it was a technique for expressing fundamental human desires different from the face shown in daily life. For Ukiyo-e artists, drawing Shunga was an opportunity to demonstrate their skills. They invested lavish technical skill in bold compositions and meticulous carving and printing techniques that couldn't be expressed in ordinary ukiyo-e. Particularly after the Kyoho reforms, when Shunga was officially prohibited, artists gained more freedom of expression since they didn't have to worry about censorship. Notably, almost all famous ukiyo-e artists of the time created Shunga. Masters including Katsushika Hokusai, Kitagawa Utamaro, Suzuki Harinobu, and Kaisai Eisen were involved in producing Shunga. However, to avoid shogunate crackdowns, they used separate hidden names from their usual names. For example, Hokusai used pseudonyms like Tetsubo Nuranuran and Murasaki Iro Genko, while Kaisai Eisen used Insai Hakasui and Inrensei. Utagawa Kuniyoshi used names like Ichimyo-kai Hoyoshi and Sanpenko Nekasuki, names rich in humor. These pseudonyms themselves reflect the wit and playful spirit of people in the Edo period. The themes of Shunga were extremely diverse. Beyond ordinary acts between men and women, works were created exploring the limits of imagination, including homosexuality, foreign couples, and encounters with supernatural beings. Particularly interesting are works themed around peeping. Because Edo period buildings were made of wood and paper and sound carried easily, situations of being watched were frequently depicted. There were also many Shunga works filled with humor that make us laugh. For example, works depicting a cat yawning beside a couple trying to have sex under a kotatsu are both surreal and endearing. Technically, Shunga represented the pinnacle of ukiyo-e artistry. For example, Torii Kiyonaga's sleeve scroll was created in an unusual horizontal format measuring 12 centimeters in height and 67 to 73 centimeters in width. This was designed to be rolled up and carried in kimono sleeves. People of the time carried Shunga as victory pictures like lucky charms or talismans. In the late Edo period, an even more innovative format called shikake-ban, trick books appeared. These featured elements like futon sections that could be lifted or pulls that would make a man's hips move, essentially mechanical Shunga. These were groundbreaking entertainment for the time, like modern pop-up books with mechanical features. A characteristic feature of Shunga is that the figures are depicted almost entirely clothed. This differs greatly from Western erotic art. In Japan at the time, mixed bathing was common, so seeing naked bodies wasn't unusual. Rather, keeping clothes on allowed artists to indicate characters' occupations and social status, while partially exposed areas stimulated viewers' imagination. Shunga also served as a mirror reflecting the society of the time. Works depicting private activities of women in the uku, shogun's harem, encounters between merchants and courtesans, samurai and townswomen. These went beyond mere sexual depiction to become valuable documents conveying the lives and values of Edo period people. Particularly noteworthy is how women are depicted in Shunga. In many works, women are shown as active participants in sex, depicted as equal to men in pursuing pleasure. This reflects the relatively free values regarding sexuality in the Edo period. Chapter 3: The Glory of Nishiki-e and Forbidden Fruit. During the Edo period, a revolutionary technical innovation occurred in the world of Ukiyo-e, the birth of Nishiki-e, or multicolored woodblock prints. This technical innovation brought major changes to the world of Shunga. Let's look at how the birth of Nishiki-e changed Shunga's expression and influenced its fate through specific works and anecdotes. First, regarding Shunga before Nishiki-e. In the Heian period, images of repose and osokuzu pictures, enjoyed among aristocrats, were all hand-painted. During the Muromachi period, records remain of fans with erotic images exported through Japan Ming trade. However, these were only available to a limited social class. The turning point came with the appearance of Hashikawa Morinobu, who made Ukiyo-e prints independent from book illustrations. Morinobu's bedchamber objects is known for depicting secret games of women in the uku. Their expressions while playing with sexual implements show curiosity and excitement about sex, along with a hint of playfulness. However, at the time, prints were still mainly monochrome or hand-colored, limiting expression. Revolutionary change came with Suzuki Harinobu's establishment of Nishiki-e. In Harinobu's sleeve scroll, which depicts children peeping at couples' intimate moments, multicolor printing allowed more delicate expression of characters' expressions and emotions. Nishiki-e techniques also greatly changed spatial expression in Shunga. From previous flat compositions, three-dimensional expressions with depth became possible. This technical innovation reached its peak in Kitagawa Utamaro's works. In Utamakura, Utamaro depicted the sensual beauty of courtesans. Nishiki-e techniques made possible the depiction of glossy skin texture, kimono fabric patterns, and above all, delicate expressions conveying joy, sadness, and sometimes even resignation. Utamaro, who established the new genre of large head pictures, continued pursuing innovative expression in Shunga as well. Torii Kiyonaga also established his own world using Nishiki-e techniques. In Sleeve Scroll, he arranged male and female figures in a horizontal composition, their expressions filled with happiness that warms viewers' hearts. Kiyonaga left many elegant works until Shunga production was banned during the Kanzai reforms. Katsushika Hokusai's The Dream of the Fisherman's Wife can be considered the culmination of Nishiki-e techniques. The octopus's tentacles entwining the woman symbolize the male organ, and this bold composition and powerful expression would later influence Western artists including Picasso. Hokusai, who took the name Old Man Mad about art in his later years, left over 30,000 works and continued pursuing new expressions in Shunga until the end. Kaisai Eisen created his own sensual world utilizing Nishiki-e techniques. Secret Records of the Bedchamber, Pillow Library, functioned as a sex manual, with detailed illustrations of genitalia and sexual instruction. Eisen's works are good examples of balancing educational value with artistic merit. The technical innovation of Nishiki-e also made mass production of Shunga possible. This led to Shunga being used for various purposes. For example, samurai heading to battle carried Shunga as victory pictures. These weren't merely meant to suppress sexual excitement, but served as talismans, expressing attachment to life and wishes for descendants' prosperity while facing death on the battlefield. Merchants stored Shunga in their warehouses to protect their wealth from the calamity of fire. At wedding ceremonies, brides were given pillow picture scrolls as educational materials for sex education. Some included humorous depictions of genitalia or comical portrayals of various events during intercourse, allowing brides to ease their tension while deepening their sexual knowledge. However, this era of glory came to an end with the arrival of the Meiji period. In 1872, the revised penal code prescribed whipping for those selling Shunga and similar objects, with works being confiscated. While many Shunga were burned or hidden deep in storehouses, ironically, some works crossed the ocean and received new appreciation in Europe. Chapter 4: Hidden Chamber Drama. Shunga was a crystallization of culture with many faces: sexual education textbook, protective talisman, wedding gift, and entertainment companion. A single picture condensed the social customs, people's lives, and full range of emotions of the time. Let's observe the human conditions, culture, and humanity itself of the Edo period by peering into Shunga as if looking into a microcosm. The appeal of Shunga transcends mere sexual depiction. Drama unfolds in them like stage plays. For example, Hishikawa Morinobu's bedchamber objects gives us glimpses of secret games among women in the uku. Their expressions while playing with sexual implements overflow with curiosity and excitement about sex, while also showing playfulness. Here, not just eroticism but the instinctive joy and humor humans feel is expressed naturally. Morinobu, a pioneer who made Ukiyo-e prints independent from book illustrations, broke new ground in Shunga by incorporating scene depiction and portraying contemporary customs. One major characteristic of Shunga is the exaggerated depiction of genitalia. In Hokusai's The Dream of the Fisherman's Wife, the octopus's tentacles entwining the woman symbolize the male organ, suggesting sexual intercourse. Hokusai was one of many artists who favored depicting women and octopi, and his dynamic composition and powerful expression leave a strong impression on viewers. This exaggeration isn't merely emphasis of genitalia, but can be seen as a symbol of male-female union and the fundamental energy of life. In Japan at that time, genitalia were viewed as symbols of reproduction and fertility. Understanding this cultural background allows us to interpret the exaggerated expressions in Shunga more deeply. Hokusai, who took the name Old Man Mad about art in his later years, and left over 30,000 works, demonstrated his unparalleled talent in Shunga as well. Shunga is also filled with humor that makes us chuckle. In Utagawa Kuniyoshi's Azuma Library, scenes are comically depicted of couples being barked at by dogs during intercourse or being caught in the act of adultery. Kuniyoshi, known for his extraordinary ideas and powerful draftsmanship, demonstrates his unique sense of humor in Shunga as well. Such laughing pictures humorously capture the social customs and daily lives of the time, transmitting Edo period humor culture to the present. Kuniyoshi was a late Edo period ukiyo-e artist also known for drawing satirical pictures of the shogunate. The characters appearing in Shunga are diverse. Beyond courtesans and high-ranking prostitutes from the pleasure quarters, people of all social classes appear: townspeople, samurai, monks, and others. Beyond male-female love, various sexual expressions unfold, including male-male love, female-female love, and even encounters with animals and supernatural beings. This vividly illustrates the diversity of sexuality in society at that time. In Kitagawa Utamaro's Utamakura, the sensual beauty of courtesans is depicted with delicate brushwork, and from their expressions we can read joy, sadness, and even something like resignation. Utamaro was known as a master of beautiful women pictures, who established the large head portrait genre in ukiyo-e. Meanwhile, Suzuki Harinobu's Sleeve Scroll depicts children peeping at couples' intimate moments, offering glimpses of the culture of that time that didn't treat sex as taboo. Harinobu contributed to establishing Nishiki-e, multicolored ukiyo-e, and his refined color sense and delicate expression stand out in Shunga as well. Shunga also reflects the individual characteristics of artists. Some artists excelled at realistic depiction, while others emphasized deformation. Some depicted sex boldly, while others expressed male-female emotions with delicate touches. For example, Torii Kiyonaga's Sleeve Scroll depicts male and female figures in a horizontal composition, their happy expressions warming viewers' hearts. Kiyonaga was an artist who took the world by storm with his 8-head proportioned beautiful women pictures, and his elegant expression shines in Shunga as well. Kaisai Eisen specialized in decadent and sensual beautiful women pictures, expressing his unique worldview in Shunga too. Eisen also created Secret Records of the Bedchamber, Pillow Library, a sex manual containing detailed illustrations of genitalia and sexual instruction. Thus, Shunga is not merely erotic art but exists like a kaleidoscope reflecting the social customs, culture, and human essence of the time. By carefully interpreting each picture, various stories emerge about Edo period people's lives, love, and life philosophy. Chapter 5: The Erotic Art That Captivated the West. In the latter half of the 19th century, amid the wave of Japonism sweeping Europe, Shunga quietly but surely made its way to the West alongside the exotic Ukiyo-e. Initially, its explicit sexual depictions conflicted with Western moral sensibilities and were avoided as obscene. Even in France, the country of art, handling of Shunga was extremely cautious. Like a stage play where light and shadow intersect, Shunga would come to shake Western society's values and open new doors in art. Shunga was first brought to the West in 1614. Among the various cultural items brought back from far-off Japan by the British East India Company's ship Clove was Shunga. In the London auction house, filled with excitement and curiosity about foreign culture, the Shunga displayed before people were treated not as artworks but as something alien and incomprehensible. Branded as obscene, many Shunga met the unfortunate fate of destruction. This incident vividly illustrates that Western society was not yet ready to accept Shunga as art. About 250 years later, Shunga would again set foot on Western soil. In the latter half of the 19th century, as Japonism fever enveloped Europe and Ukiyo-e delivered a great shock to Western art, Shunga too began quietly attracting attention among some art enthusiasts. One of the first to recognize Shunga's artistic value and strive to convey its appeal to the world was French art critic Edmond de Goncourt. In his diary, written in 1863, he passionately discussed Shunga's beauty and refined expression. However, considering the climate of Western society at the time, this passage was deleted from the diary's first edition. Goncourt's recognition of Shunga's artistic merit would become clear in later editions, but this fact symbolically shows how taboo Shunga was in Western society. The Goncourt brothers were devoted followers of Japonism and actively collected not only Ukiyo-e but Shunga as well. They acquired precious Shunga through Paris art dealers and collectors, or from travelers who had visited Japan. Their collection was the largest of its time, including works by famous Ukiyo-e artists like Hoshikawa Morinobu, Suzuki Harinobu, Kitagawa Utamaro, and Katsushika Hokusai. The Goncourt brothers were captivated by Shunga's innovative composition, delicate line work, and beautiful coloring, highly evaluating its artistic merit. Edmond praised Utamaro's Shunga as eroticism of the utmost refinement, while Jules acclaimed Hokusai's Shunga compositions as surprisingly bold and original. They viewed Shunga not as mere pornography, but as works condensing the essence of Japanese aesthetics and artistry. Partly due to the Goncourt brothers' influence, Shunga gradually became known among French artists. Masters like Rodin, Toulouse-Lautrec, and Picasso were also drawn to Shunga's unique appeal. Rodin was impressed by Shunga's flowing lines and body expression, incorporating them into his sculptures. Toulouse-Lautrec was influenced by Shunga's vivid colors and bold compositions, incorporating these elements into his posters and prints. Picasso was an enthusiastic Shunga collector, said to have owned hundreds of pieces. He owned many Shunga, including Hokusai's The Dream of the Fisherman's Wife, and was stimulated by their free ideas and uninhibited expression. In particular, works like The Embrace and The Artist and His Model, supposedly inspired by The Dream of the Fisherman's Wife, show commonalities with Shunga in their exaggerated depiction of genitalia and intertwined male and female figures. Unbound by Western painting's traditional perspective and realism, Picasso established his unique Cubist style based on inspiration gained from Shunga. Shunga had an enormous influence on Western art. Its innovative compositions, ignoring bilateral symmetry, free and flowing lines, and vivid color sense, showed Western painters new possibilities for expression. Moreover, Shunga's themes of sexuality and fundamental human desires gave courage to challenge areas previously considered taboo. Furthermore, Shunga's spatial expression, which emphasized flat composition and decorative qualities different from Western painting's traditional perspective, also provided Western art with new viewpoints. Crossing the ocean alongside Ukiyo-e, Shunga greatly contributed to Western art's innovation and significantly changed the course of art history. Once shunned as obscene, Shunga now receives high evaluation as artwork worldwide. World-class museums including the British Museum and Boston Museum of Fine Arts possess Shunga, and in recent years, Shunga exhibitions in Japan have also garnered great response. Shunga will likely continue to fascinate many people as universal artwork, expressing fundamental human desires and aesthetic sense across time and culture. Chapter 6: Shunga, Onto a Stage of Light and Shadow. While Shunga fascinated the West, ironically, it entered a winter period in its homeland of Japan. Under the banner of civilization and enlightenment, the Meiji government actively introduced Western values, aiming to build a modern nation. In this process, Shunga became subject to elimination as obscene material. In 1872, a clause was established in the revised penal code prescribing whipping for those selling Shunga and similar objects, with works being confiscated. This effectively prohibited Shunga's publication and distribution, and Shunga disappeared from public view. People's consciousness about sex also changed. With Shunga being recognized as something shameful from a previous era, people became hesitant even to own Shunga, and many works were burned or secretly stored deep in storehouses. Amid the great turning point of the Meiji Restoration, Shunga lost its light and was buried in darkness. The development of photography technology also accelerated Shunga's decline. As more convenient and realistic sexual expression became possible, Shunga gradually lost its reason for existence. However, in the latter half of the 20th century, signs of spring began to visit the frozen world of Shunga. Through its influence on Western art, Shunga's artistic value began to be re-evaluated. Until the 1960s, the British Museum kept Shunga in a room called secretum, not open to the public. However, from the 1970s onward, social recognition of Shunga changed, and museum exhibitions and research gradually began. Then, in 2013, the British Museum held a major Shunga exhibition titled Shunga, Sex and Pleasure in Japanese Art. This exhibition attracted 90,000 visitors from around the world and caused great reaction. Time Out magazine praised it as the most forthright and wonderful paintings of pleasure to date, and the BBC ran a feature article titled Historic Japanese Erotica Reveals Tokyo's Sex Secrets, with many media outlets highly evaluating Shunga's artistic merit. The success of this British Museum Shunga exhibition had a major impact on Japanese society. In 2015, Japan's first full-scale Shunga exhibition was finally decided to be held at Tokyo's Issei Bunko Museum. However, the path was not smooth. It's said that more than 20 national, public and private museums showed reluctance before Issei Bunko decided to host it. Various challenges had to be cleared, including Tokyo metropolitan ordinances and dealing with anticipated complaints. The struggles of those involved were later depicted in the 2019 film Shunga and the Japanese People, which became a topic of discussion. Nevertheless, their efforts bore fruit, recording 210,000 visitors during the 3-month exhibition period, a great success. This exhibition became a turning point in Japanese society's recognition of Shunga. The movement to re-evaluate Shunga has extended to academic research. The International Research Center for Japanese Studies is building an EN database, advancing the digital archiving of many erotic books including Shunga. Additionally, leading Shunga researchers like Hayashi Yoshikazu have conducted energetic research activities and published numerous works. In recent years, Shunga has influenced contemporary pop culture, being featured as an important theme in manga like Samurai Stunt Sakaka-kun, animated in 2021, and films like Professor Shunga, 2023, and the documentary Spring Pictures Shunga, 2023. However, discussions about Shunga continue today. Positive opinions include that Shunga is valuable historical material for understanding Japanese sexual culture and customs, that it possesses high artistic merit, and that it's important for protecting freedom of expression. Negative opinions point out that Shunga is obscene material contrary to public order and morals, that it might encourage sex crimes, and that there are concerns about negative influences on children. Obscene material versus artwork, freedom of expression versus regulation, cultural heritage value versus modern social ethics. Shunga poses many questions to us. Breaking its long silence and beginning to receive light again, Shunga's future lies in our hands. How should we preserve, exhibit, and research Shunga? What is Shunga's role in modern society, and what can we learn through Shunga? Seeking answers to these questions will be key to opening Shunga's future. Shunga is not mere erotic art, but an important key to understanding fundamental human desires, culture, and art. Standing on a stage of light and shadow, receiving various gazes, Shunga will continue to speak to us. Please share your opinions and questions about this topic in the comments section. Also, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. Feel free to suggest themes for future videos as well. By maintaining curiosity and continuing to learn, we can understand the world more deeply. Let's deepen our learning together while keeping our spirit of inquiry.